So, I know it's been a while since I last posted my video. I didn't really play that much this league because I'm not finding it very interesting. But now this is my update of my build. Currently, I'm level 96. The reason for that is because I didn't really care about experience. Um, I did some sentinels, and most of the deaths are either to Arch Nemesis mods or to this Pandemonium Sentinel, because when you are gathering large packs of mobs, you tend to stay in place for a long time, and this can be very dangerous. First of all, I want to show you a map how this build performs, um, and after I show you the map, I'm gonna explain the Atlas tree, the build, and so on. Um,
A stone forest. You will be captured, stupid beast.
okay, so this was the map showcase. This is how it performs with Sentinel mechanic. Oftentimes I don't die to this Pandemonium, but from time to time, because I'm gathering a large pack of mobs, sometimes I may die to this. But if I don't stay in place to uh, gather all the mobs, and I just go around my map without wasting time and without staying in one place, this build is pretty much unkillable unless you just happen to just meet a very strong Arch Nemesis modifier on a mob, and also the map is very dangerous, but most likely you are not going to die with this build. Now I have to show you the passive tree, some changes that I did. Um, and one thing is like the previous leagues, I don't take Hexmaster. I don't think it was worth it, but this league, especially for this Sentinel, I took this because it covers the whole screen, and whenever I try to gather the mobs, they will be hindered because I have this ascendancy with enemies you curse are hindered, so they will move slower. I curse them with temporal chains, and this gives me a lot of area of effect, so that it covers the whole screen almost. Now this is the build. The jewel right here is one that allocates Doomsday, and from Doomsday I take Skittering Runes. Maybe I could take this point. I could spend 1 point here, but I don't have it at the moment. And then I take the damage nodes right here. Um, Other than that, pretty similar to the path of building that I made for the league starter and the build from the previous league. Um, Show you real quick some of my masteries. Now I have to take another cold exposure mastery, but I don't know how I'm going to take it because I have Doomsday here and I don't think I am allowed to take mastery. Um, Maybe I am. No, I can't. I cannot take a mastery with this Doomsday. Um, anyway, cold exposure -5 is very good. Curse enemies also very good. Um, Here I have hindered and mana reservation efficiency, increased spell damage per 16 intelligence. Um, I have clarity, mana reservation here with discipline, mana reservation efficiency, some area of effect. Very important that you take all the area of effect nodes. I'm lacking 1 point here and 1 point here. It's just the area of effect is super strong. When you're doing bosses, if you just like you want to min-max it for bosses, you really don't need the area of effect and you can spec in something else just to make your build much stronger. But for mapping in general, especially with this Sentinel, the area of effect is very good. It gives you a lot of clear. It gives you uh, tankiness because your curses have more area of effect. Therefore, they protect you much better. But for bosses, pretty much it's kind of useless. You're wasting a lot of points, and I highly advise you to respec if you really wish to when you're doing bosses. If you just want to min max it, of course. Um, Here, increase spell damage per 5% chance to block. On this mastery right here, I have 1% chance to block attack damage per 5% chance to block on energy shield, on your shield. Um, Here, I don't usually. I used to take chance to avoid elemental ailments, but that was because I didn't pay attention. I was stupid. Like you could make boots like this with the new Eldritch currencies, so I really don't need this anymore. I used to take 20% chance to avoid elemental elements, and this jewel, like I actually didn't think it through when I did the build in the previous leagues, but actually you can put chance to avoid being stunned. Chance to avoid being stunned very strong, um, because I don't have to spend a craft on my gloves or on my uh, what is it called, on my helmet, because I also have chance to avoid being stunned on the boots with the Eldritch currency. Um, I'm not actually 100% stun block, but I have 94%. Still not the greatest when you are running maps with crit, because you can get stunned, but um, it's pretty decent. You really don't feel it. My Pantheon is dog shit. I don't advise you to take this. Probably this is the best with the buffs expire on you faster, uh, and the increased recovery rate of energy shield. I think that's great. With what is it called? The one with the curses. This one with the curses. Probably that's like the best pantheons you can use. But I didn't bother with it. I didn't really pay the league that much. Now I want to show you like
Not
the
before.
Some of the items that I made, they are actually pretty easy to make this league. In other leagues, they would be very expensive, but this league they were super easy to craft. Um, I'm gonna go to my hideout real quick to show you some uh, worse items. Like for example, I had this amulet right here. Uh, it's pretty similar to this one in terms of damage. This also has a lot of strength. This doesn't really have a lot of strength, but I managed to get. I think was it. Yes, I made this belt with a lot of strength, so this is nice. So that's why I can afford to replace this amulet. It's easy to make it. Like it's been sitting here for 1 exalt. Obviously, I don't play every day. I didn't spend a lot of time online, and I didn't get offers. But usually you can get this for pretty cheap, 20, 30, 50 chaos, and you're good to go. My link setups: Vortex level 30, Swift Affliction, Awaken Swift Affliction, and Power level 4. Increased area of effect. Um, you don't really need it. I prefer to use it for mapping, but obviously if you lack damage you can just put Crippling Frost and then just use it like this. It's obviously much better if you're lacking DPS, but since I have so much gear, so the gems are very good, I don't really need the increased area of effect. I don't really need the Crippling Frost, and I can put increased area of effect. Um, my belt is not really that great, but it gets the job done. These are the flasks. Nothing special about them. Um, for example, like these gloves, I just bought uh, an empty sorcerer gloves. If you can get them like level 91, item level 91, much better. Um, but if you cannot get them item level 91, just like get as high item level as possible, then just merge them with another random glove that has one of these fractures, and then you just like spam dense fossils, and there you go. There you have the gloves. The reason why I put the reason why I put inflict cold explosion on hit, um, simply because it's much better when you are doing sentinels, because the mobs are very tanky, and maybe I can just kill them with vortex, because I also have increased area of effect, and this is awakened one, and it gives me another 10% more damage. Um, so I deal a lot of damage on hit, right, with the vortex. And also because I have empower and I also have the +2 here. Vortex actually hits very hard, not just the DPS, but the actual hit. Now I just bought an opal ring, clean, as much as high item level as possible. Then you just uh, get another ring with a fracture with either strength, dexterity, whatever stat you need. Um, and then with a tier 1 maximum energy shield, and you use the jewelry recombinator and try to get those two fractures. If you cannot get it on an upper ring, like try the base that you're buying to be like a sapphire ring, a topaz ring, something with the resistances. Because if you get the base with an amethyst ring and you have the upper ring and it has the fracture, and you're unlucky and you get the fracture on an amethyst ring, you cannot really use it because you already have maximum chaos resistance, right? So you have to pay attention to those. This was the case where I had an opal ring with the dexterity. I transferred it from another ring, and then I had this sapphire ring with tier 1 maximum energy shield fractured, and unfortunately it didn't end up in an opal ring. I got the sapphire ring, but it's still good because it gives me some resistances, right? Now for my helmet, this is pretty much how it looks like. Um, I don't use any influenced item. I just use the Eldritch currency. I don't use the Redeemer or something like that. I don't use Crusader, whatever mods. I just like abuse the fact that you can craft with for so cheap with the Eldritch currency, and it's actually pretty good um, for for this build, especially because you can put the curse effectiveness. Now here I have enfeeble curse effectiveness just because like I ran out of currency. Um, I actually tried to get to hit the temporal chains, but when I crafted it, I ran out of currency. Like here, this one has temporal chains curse effectiveness, um, but I ran out of currency. It has vortex damage. Um, Probably is not the best thing because it has vortex damage. I think it would be much better if I had the discipline mana reservation, and if that was the case, I think I could drop at least 1 point here, maybe even the second point right here. I'm not really sure about that, but that's just about min maxing. In reality, it doesn't really make a big difference unless you're going for min maxing, and this league I didn't really play that much, to be honest, so I didn't bother with it. But probably getting a helmet with a hubris circlet with discipline reservation efficiency, you can even put the malevolence one. I'm not sure if it works with blasphemy. I don't even know if there is a blasphemy curse effectiveness. But um, what else do I need to tell you about the build? Oh, okay. I have steel skin here, frostblink with arcane surge. The reason why I use frostblink is I really don't have a lot of cast speed on the build, so frostblink is much better than flame dash in my opinion. Maybe it's not, but one issue that I have with frostblink, um, and I think here is like why I think I should swap to flame dash. Um, I'll show real quick. So let's just see that I want to use the Pandemonium Sentinel. Because I already have the auras, the blasphemies. Uh, Usually in maps they will, if I stay in one place too long, um, I take a lot of damage and then I try to like dodge them, right? The problem is because I have Frostblink, most of the time when I use this, the mobs will explode. And not just like 10 or 15 mobs will explode, like we're talking about 40, 50, 60 mobs that will explode just from the Frostblink, because when I'm gathering the mobs from the Pandemonium, the density is very high, and also the area of effect of my Blasphemy is also very big, so very large, so a lot of mobs will die just with Frostblink. So that's one that's one reason why I think I should put, at least in this league, in the Sentinel League, I should use Flame Dash instead of Frostblink. Now, talk about the shield, how I crafted it. Try to get the bases, the bases with the fracture um, as high item level as possible, and preferably to be a base with, that you can craft on. Like this shield, I think is like the second best base apart from Titanium Spirit Shield, and it has an item level of 84. You want the fracture with block spell damage and +1 to level of all called spell skill gems. The reason for that is because you can craft, you can guarantee the block. You can guarantee 13 block with, I think it was loading. Yeah, so this deafening essence of loading. I think you pay like 3 chaos for one, and you can just spam essence of loading once you have those two fractures until you get something decent. I prioritized having faster start of energy shield recharge above higher energy shield, because I think that's very important. On my body armor, I still have crafted chance to avoid elemental elements and chance to avoid being stunned. And I also looked for a faster start of energy shield recharge. Now, my uh, armor happened to also have a tier 1 resistance and tier 2 intelligence, which means a lot of energy shield. But basically, you are looking for a tier 1, tier 2 prefixes if you can, with an empty prefix to craft these, um, and whatever suffix. Obviously, when you are going for a min max, you're looking for uh, the best, the best of the best. Obviously, this is not like super well body armor because I don't have the tailoring orbs or whatever they're called, um, which can make the body armor super good, but it's like the difference is not that huge, to be honest. Um, Maybe like 100% flat energy shield on my Vol Regalia, which would mean like 500, maybe 500, 400 energy shield here. Um, the ring, same. Uh, the weapon, actually, I didn't pay any money for this. Um, the way it works is you get one base with +1 cold and try to get like 24 30 cold damage multi and as little extra mods as possible, and then you get another one with +1 spells with as little extra mods as possible, preferably on a good base if you can afford them. It depends on what you find on the market, and then you use the weapon recombinator until you hit the jackpot. um, I spent 5 exalts. I made 2 generic +2 ones from 5 exalts, and this was the third one, which happened to have an empty prefix. Uh, I think it's very good. Maybe I could sell it for like 25, 30 exalts. I'm not sure what the prices are right now because I didn't really play much in the past few days. And now let's talk about the boots. Um, the boots, the way you craft them is there's an essence. Um, Let me see if I can find it, but I know there's an essence which guarantees chance to avoid elemental ailments. I don't know which one it is though. Uh, okay, so it's loading, the same as for the shield. It's the loading one. You just spam essence of loading until you hit something great, preferably with an empty prefix. The reason why I'm saying empty prefix is because you wanna put chance to gain onslaught for 4 seconds on kill. This is like more budget. I'm not saying these are the best boots you can craft. Probably you have to use the recombinators to get something much better than this. And then you don't want them to be influenced by Redeemer, the Conqueror, the Elder Slayers, or the Shaper Elder, because you want to use those Eldritch Implicits with chance to avoid elemental elements and chance to avoid being stunned. Those are very nice because you don't have to craft them on your gloves and helmet, and you don't have to pick this node, chance to avoid elemental elements. So this is very important. You have to have a clean base. Um, yeah, pretty much this is the build. Let's show all the skills. Shield charge, faster attacks, frost bomb. Um, Unfold cold snap with unbound elements, bond chill, and faster casting. Obviously, when you're doing bosses, you can swap this with awakened elemental focus, control destruction, swift affliction, whatever you have. Um, Frostbite, enfeebled, temporal chains with awakened blasphemy. Try to get them with 20 quality if you can. You don't really need 20 quality on Frostbite, to be honest. Um, Here I have increased area effect with the Frost Shield. Not really that necessary increased area effect because you already have a lot of area effect since you took all the nodes right here. Um, then you have clarity and discipline. So this was the quick build. Um, Again, it's not really min-maxed, but this is pretty much similar to what you can expect in the min-maxed version of the build. Um, my damage on my Vortex right now, when I'm sitting in Hideout, is 561k. Obviously, is much greater. I would say, like for bosses, if I'm doing gem swaps with Malevolence, I replace the Temporal Chains and the Enfeeble with the Elemental Weakness and Despair. Uh, Probably is much greater than this, but yeah, this is a build right now. I showed you the map. It's not that great for bosses. I actually didn't do any Uber boss. The reason why I didn't do them is because I actually didn't spec into them. I didn't care about the bossing. I really didn't play that much. Um, but I did without any issue the Maven invitations for like Cortex and Shaper and Uber Elder. Like this build did them deathless. Don't really think. And I did them deathless without even gem swapping because I couldn't be bothered gem swapping, although it's like a 30, 40, maybe even 50% more damage when you're doing gem swaps. Um, but yeah, hope you like the build. See you later.